Taylor Swift fan. I literally have her August lyrics tattooed on my arm. Like, I love that bitch, right? This album is not good.
Tell me why I thought we were going to get pop perfection from this album, and instead we just get mid-tempo mediocrity.
Yeah, I mean, I welcome the chaos. The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping.
By the time Taylor Swift dropped The Life of a Showgirl, the internet was already arguing. Swifties were fighting Swifties. Critics were writing essays before the second track even finished. TikTok turned into a 24-hour live stream of hot takes. It wasn't just another album release. It felt like the culture hit refresh and immediately split in two. And somehow, that chaos might have been exactly what Taylor wanted. Because if you look closely, this isn't just backlash. It's a reflection of how big she's gotten, how personal fandom has become, and how impossible it is to please a world that thinks it knows you. The conversation started with one lyric. Often it doesn't feel glamorous to be me. It flashed across a Times Square billboard in bright red lipstick font. Within minutes, the internet combusted. Memes, rants, edits of people walking past it like they'd seen a ghost. Some fans said, "She's being vulnerable." Others said, "Girl, you're a billionaire with 8 houses." That one line became a symbol of a bigger disconnect between Taylor's lived reality and the version her fans still imagine. It's not that people don't believe she can feel lonely or tired. It's that the statement sounded like it came from a character she's outgrown. The irony, she's always written about how hard fame can be. From Mirrorball to The Archer, that theme isn't new. But now she's older, wealthier, and more myth than human. And the relatability that once defined her music suddenly feels out of reach. Still, Taylor being Taylor, the rollout was immaculate. A surprise announcement mid-tour, a title that screamed confidence, The Life of a Showgirl. Everyone expected glitter, spectacle, a victory lap. Instead, we got mid-tempo pop diaries about self-image, aging, and identity. The album's softer tone clashed with the Vegas-style promo, and that mismatch sent expectations spiraling. Fans flooded social media to process the whiplash. Some called it a return to Lover-era joy. Others said it sounded like folklore's less poetic cousin. A few diehards insisted it would click on the 5th listen, sparking an entire meme cycle where Swifties joked about conditioning themselves to like the album. People filmed themselves eating cake every time they hit play. A Pavlov's dog parody that went viral.
I started eating cake whenever I listen to the album because I love cake. And that way my brain starts to associate positive feelings with the album. And now I'm actually thinking that canceled is really...
At the center of all this was a question fans rarely ask out loud. What happens when your favorite artist stops matching the version of them you fell in love with? Because the internet isn't just critiquing Taylor's music, it's debating its own relationship with her. For years, she's been the soundtrack to adolescence, heartbreak, revenge, and reinvention. Now, her audience is older too, adults with jobs, rent, and exhaustion. Hearing a billionaire sing about being unappreciated hits differently when you're struggling to fill your gas tank. But here's the catch. She's in on it. In interviews, she said, "If you're saying my name or my album title, you're helping." That's not arrogance, it's strategy. Taylor understands that discourse is currency. Every tweet, every meme, every think piece feeds the machine. The showgirl doesn't crumble under chaos. She thrives in it. Still, the criticism this time isn't just about tone. Some fans say the album sounds rushed. Others think the writing feels recycled, like high school nostalgia in designer heels. "She's 35 and still writing prom songs," one review joked. It's harsh, but it speaks to the expectation we have that artists must constantly evolve. And yet, when she does evolve, remember Reputation, Folklore, people say she's unrecognizable. That's the impossible tightrope of fame. Evolve too much, you're fake. Stay consistent, you're stale. Then came the comparisons. People noticed echoes of Sabrina Carpenter's playful delivery, the short, chatty phrasing that sounds like you're gossiping over FaceTime. Sabrina made it feel fresh. Taylor doing it at 30 plus felt forced to some listeners, like she was chasing a trend she helped invent. "Is this Taylor Swift or a Broadway audition?" one tweet said, half joking, half serious. And while that's funny, it also highlights the weird double standard she faces. Every pop star borrows, experiments, reinvents. When Taylor does it, it's seen as strategy, not spontaneity. Then came the lyrical landmines. the "I like my friends canceled" line. It was meant to be cheeky, a wink at her inner circle and the online call-out culture she's constantly surrounded by. But the internet read it as indifference toward accountability. Critics said it sounded privileged, like she was brushing off the idea that her circle might include people with questionable views. Was it a reach? Maybe. But it shows how even one playful line can turn into a cultural referendum when it comes from someone as scrutinized as Taylor Swift. The fandom itself has started to splinter. On one side, you have the loyalists, people defending every lyric like it's sacred text. On the other, fans quietly admitting, "I love her, but this one's not it." And that divide has created something almost sociological. USA Today called it parasocial burnout. When you identify with an artist for so long, every creative decision starts to feel personal. If she changes, it's like you've changed. If she disappoints you, it feels like betrayal. It's not just music anymore, it's emotional investment. And Taylor's aware of that too. The showgirl persona might actually be commentary on exactly this, the exhaustion of performing perfection for an audience that never blinks. She's showing the curtain, not just the glitter. Meanwhile, the memes keep coming. Fans lip-syncing sarcastically, whispering, "This is genius," with a dead stare. Others pretending to hold focus groups about whether they actually like it yet. It's funny, but also telling. The fandom has learned how to critique her with love. And maybe that's healthy? Because this isn't 2016 anymore. The internet doesn't worship in one direction. Everything's fragmented, ironic, self-aware. And Taylor, more than anyone, knows how to adapt to that environment. She's not hiding from the discourse, she's fueling it. When asked about the chaos, she said, "I welcome it." That line, more than any lyric, defines this era. She's learned that attention, even polarized attention, keeps her throne warm. Still, the fatigue is real. Between re-recordings, tours, films, and brand tie-ins, even die-hard fans admit they're overwhelmed. One viral post said, "I love her, but it feels like homework keeping up." That's the downside of omnipresence. When you're everywhere, mystery disappears, and mystery is half the magic. The Showgirl rollout wasn't a flop. It was a stress test. It showed how far a fandom can stretch before it snaps. And honestly, Taylor might have anticipated that. After all, her career has always been about testing limits of image, genre, patience, loyalty. So maybe the backlash isn't failure, maybe it's the performance itself. When she calls the chaos part of the show, she's not joking. She's rewriting what it means to control a narrative in the age of social media. You can't stop people from debating your art, but you can make sure the debate centers on you. At this point, Taylor isn't chasing approval, she's studying it, watching how every demographic reacts to the same lyric in completely different ways. To some, she's relatable. To others, she's detached. To a few, she's still the girl from Nashville, proving she can outright anyone in pop. And the wild part? They're all right. Because Taylor Swift has become less of a musician and more of a cultural mirror. Whatever you see in her says more about you than about her. If you crave vulnerability, you'll find it. If you're looking for cringe, it's there too. If you want validation, she'll hand it to you wrapped in glitter. So when fans say the life of a showgirl doesn't live up to its name, maybe that's the point. The life of a showgirl isn't endless applause, it's endurance. It's smiling through critique, reinventing through fatigue, and knowing the spotlight's both a blessing and a trap. And whether you love or hate this album, she's done what she always does, made everyone talk, feel, argue, and care. In the end, Taylor Swift doesn't lose when people disagree, she loses when people stop paying attention. And if the last few weeks are any indication, that's not happening anytime soon.